Hey, new leaders. This is an artifact from one of my earlier feedback sessions near the beginning of the year with one of my tip teachers. Just giving her basically feedback on what I saw in her classroom that day. Also talking to her about some of the other walkthroughs I had done, and basically found her sitting at her desk and not actually teaching. So had to start out with that and basically discuss in this lesson how a lot of her students were sitting around. Work was basically finished with their work and they weren't doing anything when I walked in. Luckily, had a pretty good session with her to start off. Basically, let her know that I was not pleased with what I saw. I managed to come across in a pretty good way, and I think she took it well. And from then on, I saw some improvement. Didn't find her sitting down at her desk anymore. The students had work that they were doing when I entered the classroom at all times. I didn't find the students off task like I had in the past. So I would say it was an overall pretty productive session. And this is the videotaping of that meeting.
His arms in his sleeves, not doing anything, no paper on his desk, no pencil on his desk. And I asked him what he was doing. He's just, I didn't get any work. And I was like, which that may not have been the truth, but at the same time, there was nothing on the desk either way.
Okay.
So something to be aware of. But
Okay.
I put down, what could you do to reduce that downtime with those kids? That was one of the things that kind of concerned me. What do you think about that? Because really and truthfully, you don't want them to have any downtime. At the very least, idle hands, we know it's no problem. You know the problems that can come from that. So what do you think you could do to reduce the downtime with those
Well,
kids?
I would say give them more work, but I would say they did have work to do. Now, they just go through and just do their best, do go as fast as they can and do not do their best, and they end up talking and playing. But once they do finish their work, I do have different activities for them to do once they're done. They can work on their skills, they can, the phonics skills, they can write those spelling words if they're having difficulty with that. They can do independent reading. So it's several things for them to do. They can always check over their work, and I tell them to do that. I don't know what this is the 27th. I don't know, because right at that time, I think I was testing or trying to do different things during that time, so I'm not sure. So now, of course, that downtime we don't have, because I've done a lot of things that I needed to get done at the beginning of the school year.
And kind of on that, and like I said, I'm telling you this just to be as open and honest as I can be, because I want you to succeed. It did bother me that you were sitting down, it looked like you were working on the fry words. My understanding is that the fry words you're supposed to have been tested by the assistants, or you provided support for that, so you can.
We were, but I didn't finish.
Okay. So then, my other thing too is that the kids were completely done with their work. So if they were done with their work, every single one of them, even if they did go through it fast, something should have been done. You should have stopped what you were doing to get up and make sure they got back on task, if they were working on a group activity, whatever it was.
Okay.
So obviously, if we were to walk in and that was a drop-in evaluation, your scores probably would have been very good.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's what I really want you to keep in mind. I want your daily practices and your daily instruction to look like it would for an evaluation.
Okay.
And I'm not saying it has to be all pretty wrapped up in bows where you do some huge, massive thing, but your practices should, show that reciprocal teaching, show that differentiated instruction, make sure the kids are engaged as close to 100% of the time as you can possibly get them.
Okay.
When we walked in, or when I walked in and saw that day, that was rough. So, that's going to be the biggest thing, is just making sure your kids are engaged to start. Once they're engaged, then I can give you more effective, feedback. It's okay, I saw they were engaged, but let's differentiate the instruction here, the product, the content, the process, or let's see some reciprocal teaching. Now that you've got the kids doing the differentiated instruction, let's see if they can push it up a notch and start doing the reciprocal teaching.
Okay.
So that's kind of the idea behind that. When I see them more engaged, I can give you better feedback, because as of right now, it was more like, well, what could you do to reduce the downtime? And I know you know that. I've heard great things about you. Ms. Hill, Ms. Williams told me some amazing things that you really know what you're doing. Students still not aware of the procedures when they finish their work. You told me that they had stuff to do when they were finished, but they either didn't know what to do or they didn't know that they could do it. So what could you do to basically, what are we going to do to make sure that they understand, hey, I'm finished with my work, this is what I do next?
Just review it each day.
Okay.
I mean, other than that, just remind them.
Okay. So specifically what it is, what are they supposed to do? Like if you were to go in there right now, students, when you finish your work, you're going to do what?
As I state, independent reading. We're working on, this is a review week, so they can write those spelling words because they didn't do well, in between time. They can work on the skill that we have, but each day we're doing a different skill this week. So, but they have done it before.
When you say work on the skill?
We're reviewing Unit 1. So the skill today will be main idea in detail.
So how does that translate to them doing something when they're done? What are they supposed to do?
Well, once they read, they can read a story. Once they read the story, they have sheets of paper on their desk. What they can do, they can write down the main idea for that story and just give me some supporting details.
All right. Now here's the problem that you just said. You said they
What?
can.
Uh-huh.
You need to tell them this is what you will do when you are finished.
Okay.
There's no, well, you can do this, you can do that. If you came to me and said,
So give-
Mr. Cook,
not to
you
give
can-
them choices?
You can do some work or you can not
Uh-huh.
do your work. I'm not going to do my work 9 times out of 10,
Okay,
so I'm taking
okay,
a day off.
okay.
So don't, yeah, give them, that's fine if you give them a couple choices. Like, you know, and I don't want
But
to
tell them what they need to do.
Exactly. This is you
What
have
they
these
must
choices
do.
when you're
Okay,
done.
okay.
You can do this, this, this. Make sure it's explanatory. Make sure they don't have to come up to you every 5 seconds. I don't understand what it.
Right,
Something
right.
like, for instance, my kids. I used to be the junkyard guy. I would pick up all the computers in my school that were broke, fix them,
Mhm.
and I put them in my room. I had 10 computers in my room at the end of the year. So what I would do is, whenever my students are finished, they had to get on EPGY. Are you familiar with that? It's the Stanford
I
math
am,
program. Yeah,
I
they could
am.
get on there. Or they could read a library book. Those are the 2 first things that I had my first 2 lines. And every single time, without fail, my kids always had something to do. If somebody did, I said, you need to be